sit down. And thank you. Mr. Dante Liban, the PENAMFED President, PENAMFED, the officers, directors, and advisors of the People's National Movement to Federalism Advocacy, my fellow workers in government, my beloved countrymen. Actually, it is only not me, but every great mind of this country were really for or are for federalism, beginning from Jose Rizal, the national hero himself. Why? Because he was there at the time when this republic was being ruled by imperialists. And the system adopted was unitary. Imperial Manila and all of the decisions that would affect our country emanate from this building. Now, unitary type is really a process, a mode of control in governance para sa mga authoritarians and mga kings, mga royalty. And that is why during the Spanish times, there were orders to the whoever is the governor general, but then he took his orders how to run this country from the Spaniards, the King Philip. Ito tayo yung surrogate lucky of the Spaniards at the time. And sila Rizal, alam nila that they had to stop this kind of line of authority. There was no freedom at all except coming from one person. When the Americans came into the picture, because the Philippines was ceded by the Americans, to the Americans by the Spaniards because they lost the war. And Dewey Boulevard na yan. He was the commander of the Navy. Talagang they maintained it. And as a matter of fact, until they gave us the independence in the 1946. And those guys came from a federal system of government in the United States. Bakit nila hindi binigay? Well, two reasons. Because they wanted the Philippines to still remain a surrogate, a lackey. And you can notice it by the provisions of the constitutions at the time when they gave us the independence, because they perpetuated the power in the parity rights, that they will enjoy, like a Filipinos, to exploit and develop the natural resources. That's about it. Then that is the control of the country, economics. No need for, because a rebellion would be there always. And to do away with it was really to just give it, the physical power of a gun and of the armed forces, but they retain the colonial hold. And that is they maintain itong unitary type. Na, alam mo ba na, tayo, magkaprangkahan tayo, huwag na tayo magbulahan. Ang presidente ng Pilipinas, dito lang ginagawa sa mga kwarto dito. Sila lang yung ilan mga big time, mga negosyante, those who can finance the election, and those really who have the money to give away. At saka, sige, ito ang ano. And sila yan. Never mind about the party actually. Those parties are just mere physical platforms na titindigan nila. It's not, there's no ideology involved in that party. And for that matter, ang PDP lang ang merong horizons na ganon. And yung mga originals ng PDP really posed for a federal system. Because the country was in control of the elite, mga oligarchs dito. Yan talaga ang totoo. Sila lang yan, and one of them would emerge as the choice. Ilan lang tao, ilang pamilya lang. You trace the Philippine history. Or look at the genealogy of the... Sila lang. And because it's popular, Okay, ito kasi anak ito ng... And pati yung mga Senate slate, puro dito, kung hindi ka malapit dito, pagkasabi ito, pinopost ni kasi bilyonaryo to. Ako and make it public, I never accept. You can ask the mega world and thunder. Never accepted the financial help. Ayaw ko kasing matalian. It's public, nandyan yung one. But sorry, it's part of the territory now sa pinag-usapan natin. Wala talaga ako. I said, so, when I became president, ilan lang kayo nagsuporta sa akin. That's why ngayong presidente ako, I had just had two governors. Aimee, because talagang magkakilala na kami niyan, and another lady in Mindanao who supported me. And the only reason also because love for Philomen. Ngayon lang, wala nang iba. So wala akong bagahe. So I can shit anyone that I like and I can talk of anything. Wala akong pabor-pabor kasi wala akong utang na loob. Kaya ako gusto ko malaman ng Pilipinas na for as long as this country, there's no politics involved here, and for as long as itong mga taga-Maynila ang magsuporta, ito, kandidato ito ni may pera to. So, ganun. Without really, I do not want to offend anybody, but that is true. It's about time that we take a deep look at federalism. Yan nga ang gusto ni Rizal. Akala ko ba, naniniwala tayo kay Rizal? He's the foremost hero, and everybody else, and even Aguinaldo. At one time he said that this country has to change it to something like empowerment of the other places of the Philippines, otherwise we would not be able to control it. Look at Mindanao now. Before the Spaniards came, Mindanao was already Islam ahead by 100 years. That is why with the arrival of Spain, they tried to conquer Mindanao, but they were only able to put up one outpost there, Fort Pilar. And that was it. But they never conquered the entrails of Mindanao. So the Americans came with brute force. Akala nila, massacre there. Now, let me be very frank with you. And you will remember me kung wala na ako at magulo pa rin ang Pilipinas. There can never be peace in this land, especially Mindanao, if you do not come short of a federal setup. Ayaw talaga ng mga Moro. Because kanila yung lupa at wala silang power, because it's being controlled by the Christians, also karamihan yan. Kung hindi mayaman sa negosyo, mayaman sa shabu. Yan ang problema natin ngayon. So hindi mo talaga ma-appease ang bayan. We will pass this on to the next generation. The last card that's available is federalism. If it will appease, baka sakali. Because they are all agreed now, nawala naman yung historical hold nila. Actually, what is happening in Mindanao, let me be very clear to you, it's not about rebellion. It's the Moro nationalism. Sila yung original dyan . So yung revolt nila is actually about their land, the disposition of the land, or at the very least, marami ang nawala sa kanila. And they were divided into several provinces. It was perfected by the Americans, not the Spaniards. Ang Spaniards doon, isa lang even during the time, it's a Department of Mindanao. Yun lang. Ngayon, wala talagang, and it will continue to be and iniquitous, unequal. Kasi kung sino lang ang malakas, you can tell by the projects of those who are a favored few. And look at yung iba naman, mabuti yung binigyan. So, I salute them. Pero yung nabigyan. Sa kampanya ko, may airport kakita, 2 meters lang. There are provinces, island provinces. If you look at the DPWH record, crisscross na ang highway dyan. I've been there several times. Anak ng, isa lang ang highway. But sa mapa, wala na. It's all super highways. Kaya they remain poor because there is this elite also. Kung sino lang antigas may baril, siya yung will prevail. So, you know, this thing about bakit? Yung iba naman, sinuportahan kasi dito. They supported warlords. Magdala ng eleksyon sa kanilang resulta, 0 ang kalaban. Those are the injustice of a unitary type. Ngayon, kung ibigay mo yan sa kanila, including the natural resources, whatever is there, magbayad ka lang for the national upkeep ng pangbayaran lang sa suga and everything. Ang ano kasi, the most striking difference is that a unitary type is President, Vice President, Mayor. Ako na lang, Mayor. Yan ang powers mo. Yung hindi na-mention dyan, the residual powers go back to the DILG or to the President. Ang federal type is nandyan. Ito, powers mo, but very limited. Yan ang power ng governor or whatever. Tawag siya. Yung wala dyan, hindi babalik doon, pupunta yon sa baba. So, pag yung gano'n, mga cabinet members, hanggang dyan lang kayo parliament. But you do not have really the awesome powers of the executive department because it is reserved for the election of the locals. But then, sabi ko sa inyo, unless we break this monopoly and money and guns, wala. We will remain in the rut of things. But, if you have the will, ako ito ang promise ko sa inyo, and to the politicians. Kasi yung iba na, pakakorne naman, diktador, gano'n. Look, wala akong illusion sa power. Yung gano'n at preparing for a long rule, shut up. Ako, if you can perfect a structure set up and you submit it to Congress and call for an election of a federal system, and you provide a precedent there that it is really strong to keep hold of our country, once the product is there, hindi ko na hintayin ang election. I will step down. If you can craft it in 2 years, I will step down. You have my word. Puta na delikadesa na lang pati. Count me out. If you can perfect it within 3 years, fine, go ahead. Wala na ako. So kayong mga diyang worrying about perpetuation of power, you're wasting your saliva. I said, I do not have the illusions of staying here forever. As a matter of fact, if I go back in time, ayaw ko na. Wag na kayo sana ma-insulto, but ayaw ko na. Because of the job na ay mabigat na trabaho. I will be out here by 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock. We have a meeting with the National Security Council, iniwan ko sila. I have this one. Then I wake up, nasabi ko yan, alas 12, gisingin na ako ng security to dress up. Come here, stay until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and go to sleep. But before I can sleep, the papers are there. puno yan. Folder ng defense, folder ng foreign affairs, folder ng trade, folder ng... Then I have to check. Bigo, lagyan mo ng mga annotations yan. The proposed draft, the rationale why we should have this and this. Pagod. Tapos maliit ang sweldo. Ito, 130. Tapos dalawa ang pamilya ko. Paano na lang yan? Totoo, wala akong ano dyan. Basta gawin ninyo yung federalism. At sabi ko, wala nang ibang solusyon dito. Because of the iniquitous equation dyan. Kung sino lang yung malapit na pinakamalapit na, lalo na yung probinsya nagbigay ng pinakamalaking buto, yun doon buhusan. It's not a number of... It's not the number of votes that you got. Kaya sabi dito sa akin is, sabi ko kay Secretary Jok, no? Kaya lahat, whether I won in this place or not, lahat pareho-pareho tayo. But silly yung iba na you favor one and one politician because he can deliver the votes. Then you get him all concessions, pati yung mga illegal na. So, pag hindi nagtrabaho hindi umubra itong federalism, forget about happiness in the Philippines. Forget about an ideal state, gano'n. We'll just have to remain and enjoy what we have here. Pag hindi ito na-post, ako taga Mindanao, hindi ito lumusot, kailanman. I guarantee you, pag hindi ito lumusot ngayon, wala na yan. And even the Moro, kung hindi ako makalusot na galing ako, I have a Moro blood in me. Pag hindi kayo pumayag ng mapayapang paraan, you'll never get from any other president for that matter. Wala na. Hindi nyo makukuha yan. So now is our chance. Ilang buwan pa lang, but next year, there has to be an acceleration of all of the things. I want it done in 3 years. And on the third year, you are able to consolidate all that we want for the Filipinos and for our country. I will go. I will resign and give way. Total, alam ko naman siguro yung magiging presidente uli. Pero kung every election dito lang, tapos sila lang nandito yung cabinet, sige, bottoms up, patay. Tapos yung ibang probinsya, wala. And, may underspending all the years. Towards an election year, may underspending yan. Bakit hindi nabubuhusan itong pera, may pera ito? But pagdating ng election, ibuhos. That is how it's being done. But if you enjoy, my countrymen, if you enjoy this kind of setup, fine. But may mga tao, kaya dito ngayon na the exponents of federalism, hindi nila masikmura yan. Because they are the thinking Filipinos, and out there, for those who do not agree, I don't know if you have the IQ of 14 to see na ganito na nga ang sitwasyon natin. Now, I promise the country, when I run, that there will be no corruption. So there will be no corruption. I just fired 92 of the mga LFTRB, pati yung LTO. Ubos. Diyan sa regulatory, but that's why I want the least intervention of government. Pag kasi nakikialam ang gobyerno, karamihan yan, with all the good intentions, pagdating niya pera. Kaya noon, take you about several months to act on the papers. My orders now is 1 month for every department. And the local governments, yung business permit, electrical connections, pati yung bumbero, I call your attention. Kasi mag-building ka, may electrical permit. Bago lalabas yan sa fire department, pabilihan ka muna ng fire extinguisher. Ay, naku, pakain ko sa iyo yan. Ganon eh. You sit on the papers and they go back and forth. So I just have to formulate rules there, whether you are a local government or not. Na ganon para. Because if I allow your practices to continue, nothing will come out of my promise about graft and corruption. Pati ako, idadamay mo sa kalukuhan mo dyan. So I want it really complete and be heard by everybody that when it means to walang corruption, talagang walang corruption. Especially yung mga register of deeds, wala sa opisina. No, you are paid by government. Good for 8 hours of work. Pagkatapos ng lunch, magpasyal-pasyal kayo, you are short-changing government, which is actually estafa. You swindle us. I pay you for the 8 hours of work, and you are not there. So who are you? Well, estapador ka. So I want everybody there. Pagka yung absent sa inyo ng ano, I will not give you a warning, 1, 2, 3. First offense, second offense, kalukuhan yan. I'll ask you to resign. I will ask the civil service to act on it also immediately. Or the ombudsman for that matter. Kasi ako, na-demanda ako ni Matubato. Pati kami lahat ng gago. Alam mo, Matubato, ang galit talaga sa iyo yung anak kong Vice Mayor. Huwag nang sana magalit yung buang. Kasi sabi niya, from kindergarten to high school, siya daw ang bantay ni yung Vice Mayor ngayon sa Ateneo de Davao. Na hindi man yan nag-graduate ng Ateneo de Davao. Hindi man pag-aral ng Ateneo yan. Nalaman yan, PWC. Nag-graduate ka pala para sa eskwelahan ng mga babae. Galit na galit ko. The ombudsman is ready. Fine, investigate us. And if you think that something wrong, meet out the proper penalty. Pero ilahat mo, ma'am, kasi we are really in a bind. Nasa droga. You know, ayaw kong pumatay. I do not enjoy looking and seeing Filipinos that sprawled in blood. Gago ka kung ginusto mo yan para sa tao mo. Now, if this were only a problem of drugs, 10,000, 20,000, pwede pa akong, no, I can even be courteous to everybody and say, well, we'll just try to then rehab. But ang figure ni John Santiago, who's here, when he was a PDEA, he paid about 3 million, sir, to mga peg mo about 3 million. Sabi niya, there are 3 million addicts in this country. Ngayon sa term ko, hindi ko pa nilabas. But I am already nearing, I will breach the million mark. It's about 4 million drug addicts. That is really the existence of the country. Sabi ko nga naman basta may diferensya lang kunti, okay ako. Wag lang yung bayan. Because i-compromise mo ang bayan, patayan talaga tayo. And anything, madruga o ano, I will not allow my country to go to the dogs. Mahirap yan. Ako ang nandito ngayon. Tingnan mo naman noon. And even before I was campaigning, I was already mounting that if you are a general involved in drugs, you better resign because I will name you publicly. And I did not fail you. I really fired about 7 generals. Now, even before I took my load of office, there was already a lot of killings. What do you think was really happening? Who was doing the cleaning? We? So they have the power. They were already cleansing their to prevent. I called them about a month after. Well, this is the strategy. So, a third of those really died in the encounter with the police. At aminin namin. And we give proof. So bakit takutin natin I said, go out and hunt for them. Arrest them if possible. But if they resist arrest and offers a violent resistance, kill them. So what's wrong with that? And in Davao, when I was mayor, I said, if you are a drug pusher, if you are a drug lord, go out of Davao because mamamatay kayo. So what's wrong with that? And we said, dito, when I was with the president, if you destroy my country, I will simply kill you. And if you deprive us of our generation of our young dito sa Pilipinas, talagang hihiritan kita. What's wrong with that? Human rights, blah, blah. Hayaan ko ba? I will answer for that. Wala. Basta sabi ko sa police pati military, do not do anything that is illegal. If you have to work, work well. At protektahan ko kayo. Na yung sa hulo, may insinuation ito yung asawa ni Samson. Pangalan niya, basta yung asawa ni Samson, yung gumanon sa poste, insinuation, ako natuloy ang biggest drug protector na kanyang corona man yan, huwag niya mo ibigay sa akin, gaga. Limaw talaga. Akin yun. I assure you, walang may plano ako doon. Akin yun. Totoo yan. As Commander-in-Chief, wala akong agenda dyan sa drugs. Pinapatay ko nga kayo, mga putang ina kayo. Huwag kayo magkamali dyan. Akin yun. May laro doon na gusto kong tignan. Gusto na kami ko mapuputol yan. And do not do it because pati yung ibang pulis, ma-discourage na. Do you know the reason why in the past, alam ninyo to, bakit walang namamatay na drone? Bakit umabot ng 4 million yan? Nahiyaan, and the police, ayaw gumalaw. Kasi pag galaw ang pulis, magtanong ka ng pulis, tanong ka ng abogado ng pulis, pag dinimanda mo, magka-counter. Pag mag-counter yan, wala silang abogado, and if the case is already filed in court, suspended yan, pati sweldo, wala ng pagkain. Kaya ang pulis takot talaga. Magtanong ka ng pulis, anong kinatakutan ninyo? Kaso. Kasi left and right ang suspension. Dito sa akin panahon, wala. Basta magtrabaho ka lang. Well, of course, pati ka hold upper, kasali ka doon sa listahan. Talagang, anong pulis-pulisan dyan? Isali kita dyan sa, may warning talaga ako, huwag kayong pumasok dyan para kayo ng droga, yayariin ko kayo. Pero kung nagtatrabaho, ang pinakatakutan, ngayon, naging mayor ako, sabi ko magtrabaho kayo. Lahat naman talaga ng paranoia yan eh. You must have encountered 1 or 2 or 3 drug addicts. May paranoia, may baril talaga yan, may kutsilyo at the most. Lalaban yan. That's the reason why magpasyal ka ngayon. Ewan ko kung may mga addicts pa. Ba't ko konti na lang kasi sinabi ko, hoy, kayong mga, huwag kayong pa-istambay dyan sa kanto sa daan. Kung drug addict ka, confirm ka, you go out, do not go out. Stay inside your room and lock yourself. Yan ang payo ko sa pamilya. Pag makita ko yan sa labas, dadamputin ko yan. Tingnan ninyo. Nakikiusap ako noon na ayaw ninyong maniwala. Ngayon, brasuhan. Sige. Ngayon, at least the Filipino has recovered his right to use the streets, lighted or not lighted. He must be able to ride in a bus safely with or without a police there. Yan ang gusto nating lahat at yan ang mangyayari. Believe me, you're better off just obeying the law. Hindi ako, yung lahat namang lumalabas sa bunga ako, there is a basis for the law. Ibalik ninyo yan. Huwag kayong dyan sa kanto-kanto. Maghintay kayo kasi talagang magagawa ako ng rehab. Now, I am releasing 1 billion para sa, in the meantime that you're waiting for a rehab, you go to the health of mga district hospitals or district health. I gave it to Tigualo, yung sa DSSD. I'm comfortable with any amount. Sabi ko, binigay ko na kaagad sa kanya na bilhin mo yung mga medisina ng mga drug addicts. May mga tranquilizer yan. Diyan na lang kayo sa bahay ninyo muna magparehab. Huwag kayong magwala dyan sa daan kasi babantayan ko talaga. Sabihin ko talaga sa police, if you cannot maintain law and order yung sa assignment mo dyan, umalis ka. Lalagay kita doon sa hulo. Marami na akong nilagay sa hulo. Totoo. What about 4 of national officials? Nandoon na sa hulo ngayon. Ewan ko kung buhay pa ang mga animal. Korupsyon. Pati ang polis. Sigurado ka, Basila, no? Do not. Gusto ninyo ng, kayo mga Pilipino, maniwala tayo sa batas, ha? Ayaw ninyo ng ganon, eh. Sipa, pati, mahirap kasi, bayan ko to. Paski na ganito lang ako, galing lang ako Mindanao, para kaming mga ano doon, bayan ko pa rin to. Because my father is Cebuano. Although I have not lived in Cebu, not even for once. But this is my country and I love it. It's either we make it a country that really ours, and we all behave to give the Filipino a chance to live in peace, or away tayo. And I'm ready for it. I'm ready for impeachment. Go ahead. Wala akong ano dyan. Kung ousted ako, okay lang. But let it not be said na sa panahon ko, hindi ko ginawa ang trabaho ko. That's all there is to me. I will be impeached. I will be, ousted. Fine. But, sabihin ko, makaintindihan lang tayo. Sa panahon ko, ginawa ko talaga ang lahat magawa ko. To stop corruption, lalo na corruption. We are like planes or aeroplano tayo na running full speed sa runway towards nearing the end of the runway. And yet, there is no lift kasi because of corruption. We could have done better in the old days past. Mas makaano pa tayo, but kasi yung corruption. Ayaw ko talaga yung corruption. So, may mga kaibigan ako nandyan and I am beginning to, sorry na lang. Ngayon nabigyan ko dyan sa do not ever think that that is a license just because we won. We won because we promised the people how to behave. If you cannot behave, then I am really sorry for you. Our friendship is not meant to be that way. Yung tamang tamang diskarte lang. Criminality, ganun rin. Ako basta isauli ko talaga ang law and order sa daan. Whether you like it or not, talagang pipilitin ko. Ngayon, pagka pinilit ko, nandiyan ka pa rin, ginusto mo na talaga ang mangyari sa iyo. Druga. Maraming patayan daw, may salvaging extrajudicial. Gusto ninyong mahinto to? O simple, hinto kayo lahat mga durugista pati. Stop it. And there will be a very peaceful New Year and Christmas Day. Huminto lang kayo. Pag huminto kayo, wala ka nang madinig na reaction sa amin. Stop! Gusto ko stop it. Kayong mga critics, you're better off going into the neighborhoods and finding out kung sinong nandyan. Ito yung mga pare sa mga pare ninyo. Spend time with the people, go out, who are really affected. Then you're better off giving them the advice of how to seek treatment. Walang pera, wala akong rehab ngayon, except I said for that Chinese guy who built us a good for 10,000 facility. May God bless his soul. Talagang mabait. Wala ako niyan eh. Remember that pumasok ako dito midterm. Bottoms up nga sila eh. Operating expenses lang. Next year, mayroon na ako sa budget. Kung sabi, bakit patay ni Duterte? Hindi na niya i-rehab. Hindi mo lang alam, Mare, na wala na akong mapasukan. Gusto mo, pati yung tulong na lang ko, yung bahay ninyo, mag-reserva kayo na yung mga mayaman. Mga mansyon, mga 4, 5, 6 ang kwarto. Bigay ninyo yung isa, adopt an addict, and see what happens. So that is my advice. Kulang ako kasi wala akong pera. I said I entered midterm. I'm operating on a budget that was prepared the other year. This is the budget of Aquino. And I'm sure when he was preparing that budget, he never really believed that ganito karami, by the tens of thousands surrendering to the police and to the barangay. Alam ko. So if you want kayong mga bleeding hearts, if you really want to stop the violence, ganon, mag-adapt lang. Adapt an addict. Share a love between your fellow men. Sige. Para malaman ninyo ang perdisyon ng isang drug addict. Kasi kung gusto ninyo, lahat yung sa tundo, unahin ko pag kayo na ang mamili kung saan ninyo sinong gusto ninyo doon. Babae, lalaki. Just the same. Kasi pag naloko yan, saksakin ngayon lahat, masakir ang labas. Kala ganun kadali. And criminality. As it is done. Kayong mga hold-upper, kayong mga, itong mga, bantay kayo. Kidnapin ninyo yung mga Chinese, about 7 already on record. Magbigay na ng pera, tapos patayin pa rin ninyo. And so also in Mindanao. Do not make demands. Yung mauti na maghinto sila, mag-withdraw ang gobyerno. Kaya kung hindi, bababa daw sila sa Marawi, sunugin nila. Hindi, magbaba kayo. Sunugin mo, tingnan natin. Kailangan mo gusto, sabihin ko, magpunta ako doon. Manonood ako, paano mo sunugin? Do not place conditions like just yung peace talks ngayon. Do not put a condition. I am the Republic. Kayo yung may kasalanan. If you want to do something, do it. And thank the Lord that you have realized that how wrong it was. But do not place conditions upon me. Kayo yung rebelde dyan, tapos ako yung magbigay ng kunong, wala. I do not that. I'm not in that kind of mode na gano'n basta Pinagkausap ko kayo, sabi ko, peace tayo, gano'n, kung ano lang lumalabas sa mukha nga ako. If you want. Pero kung nandiyan kayo, a marauding band there, and you place conditions for stopping it, karami kong sundalo dito. Nakabarong puro sundalo mo yan. Pag mag-uniforme na, hindi, pagkabilaan, yung nagkaitim, mga ano yan, mga kapgo yan na babae. Hindi, pero sundalo yan sila lahat. Kaya sabi ko, ayaw kong, nung bago ako, alam mo, nung bago ako, sinundo nila ako sa bahay, yung nanalo na ako, hindi pa ako presidente. Pagdating doon, galit na yung mga pulis, pinapaalis na yung mga pulis. Mag-take over na sila. Pati yung mga pulis na dating secret, umalis na kayo dyan. Kami na mag-take over. Kami na ang bahala ni Duterte. So, paglabas ko ng bahay, one day, sunuran niya mga kanto-kanto kasi yung subdivision ko, ang liit Teachers Village yan. So, pagdating namin sa Habi, ang haba. Tapos puro nakagano. Nakukurnihan ako niyan kasi, alam mo sa Davao, baski even the Moro people, I embrace them. Kita niyo sa TV yung puta akong lanaw. Ay gusto, lumalapit ako talaga sa. Sabihin ko, sino yung pinsan ko dito? Di meron talaga. Lumalapit talaga kasi nasanayan sila mag-embrace. Lalaki pati babae na sa Davao, sanay sila. Punta kayong Davao. Ang pangalan ko doon, Mayor. Yan ang tawag ng presidente. Mayor yan. So, nung na ako, hindi ko babuksan yung sakyan ko. Ganon kakapal yung salamin. Tuk-tuk ko. Hindi ko rin mabuksan kasi ayaw lang buksan. Nasanay ako magbabay. Sanay ako magbabay sa tao. Kaya ako, pag para. Bigla ko yung para. Magbaba ako. Tapos, batiin ko. Tapos yung flashing light, maski dito, meron doon mataas. Tingin ako sa salamin ko. Parang turi man yan kasi taas. So, ano yan? Ano yan sa dulo? Sir, ambulansya yan. Tangina. Sabi ko, bakit? May ambos ba dito? Sir, ganun talaga. Ade, sabi ko, kumplituhin na lang ninyo. Dagdagan ninyo ng punerarya. Para galing sa ambulansya, diretso na punerarya, tapos doon sa libingan ayaw ko sa libingan ng mga bayani. Gusto ko doon sa amin. Tabi mo lang ako doon sa tatay ko, pati nanay ko. Okay na. Makrimisyo. Libingan ng bayani, tapos malasing pa yung mga relative mo, karaming krus dyan, maghanap saan ba yung yawa na yun? Doon sa amin, makita mo talaga kaagad. Hindi, biro lang yan. It might sound irreverent, but yan ang filosofiya ko. Pero may ambulansya pa. O di, pinararya na lang na maganda. Pagdating doon sa ambulansya, may ambos, patay na si Duterte, lagay mo ambulansya. Tapos, wala na talaga to. Di, punerarya kasi diretso na. Doon sa crematory. Karaming arte dyan sa. So, patawa na lang yan akin. It's just, ganon ako. That is, sa nila bastos, basta. Ganon talaga ako, magpabiro. Kasi totoo naman. Bakit mo ako lagyan ng ambulansya dyan? Parang buang. Kaya sabi ko, sakyanan, 2, 3, tama na yan. So, ginoo ko. Pati magdaan ka. That's why I do not accept invitations to talk here in Metro Manila. Whenever I go to a certain place, hindi mo lang alam, but when I leave Malacanang or I am through with the speaking engagement, but 5 minutes before, because may mga yung pasilpi-silpi pa, hinahanap ko rin kung sino nag-imbento yung awa na yan. Lahat gusto pasilpi. Tapos lahat kayo nakatindig, mayroong isang picture. May magsabi isa, yung akin na naman. Ako selfie tayo dito. Ayaw niya yung... Di noon, isang ganun, wala na. May plus pa. Dito ngayon, kanya-kanyang selfie. Okay lang kung babae. Kasi mag-ganon. May isa pa dyan, mag-akbay, tapos ilapit yung muka, kat na ng anak ng witing. Parang chick-to-chick. Sabi ko, talaga trabaho ito, mabakla ako nito. So anyway, I've taken much of your time. I hope we can take a full swing. I will be appointing a commission somewhere. But it's higher ng federal para yung consensus. Then I'm only giving them 3 months. So you have to finish it in a year. Time is running out. You know, the great plans of this republic, ganon. Alam mo kung bakit? Hindi talaga matuloy-tuloy. Mahilig kasi ng komisyon na, may mag-investigation, create a committee to investigate. Ang kalukuhan. Ibigay mo yung trabaho niya. Ikaw, pulis, doon yan. Saan ka na-assign? Homicide? Ibigay mo. Komite ng komite, kalabas-labasan ito, walang produkto. So, yan I'm happy that you're able to visit me also sa Malacanang. Hindi ako natutulog dito. Ang standard ko talaga sinasabi. Dito, hindi na naghihintay ang multo dito, araw, harap-harapan. Tapos kung matulog ako sa presidential room, kuna. Tapos may maggalaw sa iyo, buti sana kung lady on white, tsagaan na kita ng halik. Ang problema pag hawak mo na gano'n, bigotilyo, tapos yung mga katsila noon. Noon ako sa malayo. Secret doon sa kampo ng mga sundalo. Hindi ako tutulog dito. Walang mangyari sa'yo. Dito yung, multo. Paano ka maligo dito kung magsige ka lang tingin dyan sa lamin? It's not a peaceful resting place. Walang ganyan. Maraming ako hindi man ako takot sa pero kaya po nagkapipa na katsila o Amerikano, putaragis. So, I'd like to thank you for showing the interest, keeping alive the spirit of federalism. I tell you, remember this statement, kung magka-letse-letse ang Pilipinas, there can never be peace, especially in Mindanao, if you do not grant them a certain amount of much more than just a local autonomy. And they are really accepting the federal setup. Let's take advantage of it and end the unitary type of government. Because dito, it emanates from my office. And to the last guy there, baski security guard lang ng I can revoke his abrogate whatever. Baski sino, basta sa executive department. It emanates from office of the president. Okay yan, kung gusto mo kayong mga suspitsoso nga gusto ko madiktador to perpetuate in power, so kung alam mo lang. Sabi ko, gusto ko yung mga demonstrator, galit kayo sa akin. Magdala kayo ng kutsilyo sa luneta, sabay tayo magsuicide ng dandan. Perpetuate ng power. Pagkakur na yan. Hindi ko type yan. Saka matagal na ako sa gobyerno, gusto kong pahinga. Sabi ko nga, perfect the federal type of government. Basta structure, before the election. But I will just see to it na, and I can assure you, you elect a new president, and I will oversee the election. Tignan mo kung hindi malinis yan. Baski saan, di papayag yung daya-daya, ibala kita sa kanyon. Totoo. If I'm the president and there's an election, I will guarantee you that kung nandyan pa ako, I will oversee the election. Na walang yan. Forget about terrorism, I will not allow it. Simply, I will not allow it. Then we will have an honest election. Like a new form of government, rather vote for then elect a president who's good. But he must be one who can control the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.